Hi, and welcome to Lockdown Economy, a series of interviews by the think tank AlterContacts, where real entrepreneurs share their insight about the challenges of the pandemic as we look to reactivate the economy. My name's Peter Bell, and today my guest is Neil Bestford, founder of Authentic, a people and culture development agency aimed at helping embed positive, performance-driven, people-centered organisational cultures underpinned by health and well-being. Good morning, Neil. How are you?
Morning. Good, thank you.
Good.
So not too bad today.
Good. It's a nice day outside. It's nice. Good to have some good weather. So I think we'll probably just dive into the first question with maybe a little introduction into what you do as a business.
Yeah, certainly. So Authentic's been, I suppose, born in 2018 in January. And so we've been on for about 3 years. The company has kind of had different approaches over the last 3 years, but certainly for the last, probably I would say 18 months to 2 years, we've been solely focused on people and culture development. We're based up in the northeast of England in a small coastal village called Tynemouth, so right next to the sea. And we use quite a flexible business model. So we use a team of partners and associates. So we've got a team of around about 6 or 7 associates who we use regularly. And then some delivery partners who are organizations that we partner with to deliver certain aspects of the business. So it's a really flexible model, quite agile and perfect for this scenario when obviously kind of work is currently kind of ebbing and flowing as we go through 2020 and 2021. So yeah, that's us.
So looking at the pandemic, how would you say the pandemic affected you as a business and the lockdown as well?
I think lockdown one, initially we were fairly stable. It was pretty good because a lot of the projects we're working on were in full flow. So there was no real shift apart from the move from being face to face to then shifting quite quickly online. I'm quite fortunate in the sense that all of my clients are technology based, so they're all tech. They all sit within the tech sector. So they were really agile and really quick to move all work online. And they were really receptive to continue work online, and really for them it was business as usual. Then towards the kind of probably July, August, September time, work started to tail off because I think really the impact that this wasn't really going anywhere, and it was something that we weren't in it for the short haul. It was going to be a longer haul issue for businesses that they started to kind of regroup and kind of a lot of work got put on pause. So around that kind of middle to back end of last year became quite a challenge for us. So it was quite tricky to kind of maneuver around that. But then as we kind of tailed off towards the year, people started to plan for kind of 2021. So we've seen work kind of pick back up, which has been great. But it was inevitable, I think, that kind of work was going to be postponed. But what it did allow us to do was, for me particularly, to focus on my business and focus on where I needed to move and shift and kind of look at where Authentic positioned itself in the future. So it did give me that time to reflect on the business and work out for myself, actually, what is the longer term impact of the pandemic and what does that mean for Authentic and how do we deliver? And I think that's been a really valuable exercise to give us that space and that time to kind of look at the future.
Okay, so kind of looking at the future as well, do you know how your customers and competition are doing with regards to maybe the impacts of lockdown and the pandemic upon them?
I think because of the nature of the business, a lot of it can be quite easy transferred online. So we've moved all our face-to-face coaching has now gone to Zoom coaching. So many hours are spent kind of face-to-face, one-to-one on during coaching calls. Strategy sessions I've done when we were allowed back in the office, so to speak. I've done one in the last 10 months face-to-face. Otherwise they've been done via Zoom, and it's worked really well. And there's tons of technology out there like Miro and Trello and all the kind of different technologies that we can use to facilitate kind of online sessions. So it's been tricky, but it's certainly fine. I think clients have adapted really well. I know pretty much all of my clients are flourishing, which is really positive because of the nature of their business. They work in sectors that are currently flourishing, which is super. In terms of competition, I think again it's just been moving that model online. I'm currently studying towards my level 5 coaching and mentoring qualification, and the whole course, which would typically be face to face, has now just moved online, and it's working really well. So I think people are adapting. I think that's kind of the word du jour at the moment is around that kind of flexibility and adapting. And I think both my customers and competition are pretty good at doing that at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think that's from the interviews that I've had so far. I think adaptation and agility have definitely been the two standout points. Looking at your business, like now specifically, what would you envisage your plan being for, say, the next 2 to 3 months?
I think, again, January 2021 has afforded us some time. It's been a fairly slow start to the year. I think everyone's kind of come back, and we've got, I think, the nature of my clients and having the realism that they're having to homeschool. A lot of them do have children that they're having to spend a lot of time homeschooling and kind of really kind of bringing their working day down to the kind of minimum viable proposition that they can just manage to get through the day. So anything that kind of has focused on the external consultancy or contractors has been kind of sidelined for January. So again, it's given us that chance to kind of regroup and look at what the next kind of 2 to 3 months and beyond look like. So a lot of planning, a lot of kind of getting the website up and running and shifting the narrative on the website. So it's more of an online and digital experience as opposed to the typical face-to-face that we would do. Looking at a lot more productization. So looking at taking our service offer and creating products that could potentially land more easily in the marketplace so that people can kind of pick it up and run with it and really easily know what it is. So consultancy, can, as you well know, can go in many different directions. And I think it's kind of looking at how we digitize that and productize it. So that's going to be the focus certainly for the first quarter of 2021. And again, just promotion really, and like spending a lot of time in that, living in that digital space, particularly on things like LinkedIn, and spending time kind of raising the brand awareness of Authentic and what we do, and showcasing our partners and showcasing our clients and the kind of testimonials and great feedback that we've got, which I'm really pleased to say. And then we can use that as a platform to kind of build the brand and again, starting to look at business development really for the first couple of quarters of 2021.
Cool. What would you say would be like the 3 things that you would kind of look to seek help with if there was, potentially 3 that comes to mind? Obviously, there's a wide variety of entrepreneurs that are interlinked within the lockdown economy. So kind of look from your perspective, what would be the 3 things that you would look towards gaining help for?
I think raising awareness, that kind of broader network to promote the services and promote kind of people and culture generally across the board. I've been doing a lot of thought pieces recently on kind of LinkedIn, talking about the flexibility of working, and you and I have spoken about the shift away from kind of mandating that colleagues are working 9 till 5 to a much more flexible approach to looking at how work's delivered versus the kind of the times that individuals work, and trying to kind of flex around lives as opposed to the kind of typical 9 till 5. And what are we learning from this online and virtual environment with which the hybrid workplace that we're all living in? So looking at what that might be, but yeah, promoting the service offer, I suppose, and support with anyone who could collaborate on kind of digitization or looking at kind of moving to a more digital approach, and also any support with kind of productization and models that might be effective, and really kind of probably doing a lot of trial and error and kind of focusing on looking at what might work, putting it out the market as a kind of a beta test, and then kind of saying, right, actually, does it work? And then getting some feedback from that. So I think that's definitely going to be the focus for the first couple of months of the year.
Okay, no, thank you very much. It's been really great to catch up with Neil and talk a little bit more about your business. Obviously, there's if people would like to share, subscribe, and like this video, there's going to be some more content held on here in the coming weeks ahead as we continue to conduct these interviews. So thank you again, Neil, for your time, and stay tuned, and bye for now. Thank you.
Great. Cheers, Peter.
Bye.